What's going on, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, we are back.
Woo!
Yes, it's Drinks and Conversation.
The podcast.
Yes, and I am Intro Picks, and I'm always in the building.
And I'm oxytocin, and it's always going down.
Yeah, we are back, y'all.
What? Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Oxytoast?
Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. What's going on with you,
Chicken
Intro
wing,
Picks?
chicken wing and the deuce thing.
I had a chicken wing, so it kind of just,
Well, we got an exciting show today.
We do.
We talking about money.
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 I know I couldn't hit the note, but we got Xavier Epps in the building, CEO and founder of XNE Financial Advising LLC.
What's up, Xavier? What's poppin'?
What's going on? What's poppin'? Thank you all for having me here.
Man, thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here, man.
Right.
Taking your time. Now let's talk about money, because I like to talk about money.
Who don't like to talk about money?
I like to get a little financial advice every now and then. So, Xavier, tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you can,
How you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing good. I see these drinks in front of me, so eventually that's going to get in the system, and that's going to help.
Okay.
A little bit more smoother. But, so my name's Xavier, like you all know. My company is XNE Financial Advising LLC. I started it in 2011.
Okay.
And we've been going strong ever since then. It's a C corporation. We've assisted over 700 individuals and small businesses. And we do everything from taxes to financial planning, budgeting, helping people with their credit, debt. And in the businesses, we help tremendously with small business bookkeeping.
Okay.
So we've just been doing that, and I just do the best as I can to help people get out of the financial binds that they're in, and one person tell another person, and then people like, oh, well, we want to get your advice on this, and things just start blowing up.
Now you got over 700 clients. That's a lot of clients.
That's a lot
of people.
Yes.
So you getting these people money, or you saving them money, or both at the same time.
So a lot of things that we do at XNE Financial Advising is devised around creating a financial plan.
Okay.
So within that financial plan is a budget, a debt, and tax analysis.
Okay.
So I basically take apart your whole financial life, and when I take apart your whole financial life, I put it back together in an organized way that makes sense for you to follow every payday. And one of the big things in it is saving money.
Okay.
So, I'm really big on saving money, creating emergency savings. So when the emergency happens, you got cash flow to fall back on. Versus a lot of people, when an emergency happens, they fall back into the debt trap.
Yeah.
But they end up
credit cards,
leveraging debt, personal loans, credit cards, or they end up touching investment accounts or retirement accounts and being penalized for touching it. So I'm like, you got to take a step back and say, look, the way that I need to get forward is by putting money aside today. So you may not be able to contribute to your retirement plan right now because you need to bulk up your emergency savings. Once that's bulked up, then you can go full throttle on investing and putting away money from retirement. So I think the average client that we built a financial plan for was saving about $2,200 to $2,300 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's a year. So we got clients going all the way back to 2011. So some of these people have reached $20,000, $25,000 in their savings. So a lot of people are definitely saving money with our financial plans.
Okay. I mean, it's hard to save though. Like
it is.
It's hard to, especially when you're like, I guess, like a struggling business or a small business, and you're trying to save and spend and I guess invest in trying to recoup more money. So like, what's your strategy for somebody like that that's up and coming? Like, is that equally important as far as investing in your business so that you can make more money, and as far as saving money versus saving what you're making?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you definitely want to set boundaries.
Okay.
You want to be able to say, hey, I got this new idea, I got this new business, this is how I'm going to invest in it. But when you say this is how I'm going to invest in it, that needs to be it. So if you set a budget from your own personal pockets to the business of, let's say, $500 a month, don't exceed that. And let the business grow. Once the business grows, then you can stop contributing to it on a monthly basis. Now that the business is growing, you need to set budgets for the business. Okay, now the business is growing, it's making money. I want to not spend no more than XYZ to run this business.
Right.
And then you start to accumulate savings because you're sticking to a plan for your own business. So you know, you start out small, but you eventually
and then you grow.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We got a smart man in the house. Okay. Why do you think it's so hard for people to save money? I think we talk about how a lot of people can't save money, but it's something that you really want to do. But why is it so hard?
It's hard to save money because we have such a personal attachment to it. We spend 40 hours a week making money.
Yeah.
When we finally get that check, it's like,
spent
I'm gonna
before
do
we got
whatever I want to do with this money. And to have that type of mentality is always going to be very difficult to save any type of money.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you want to do with it what you feel like you should be able to do with it because you earned it. And you do, but you have to set boundaries and parameters and be disciplined. So it's just kind of getting people out of the mindset of, hey, just because you spent all the time making it doesn't mean you need to spend time spending it all as well.
Yeah. And what are some ways you get people out of that mindset?
Yeah, because I think it's hard. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you like you said, you spend all this time making this money, but you feel like you're underwater. Like, you feel like, okay, I'm spending all this time to make money to keep up. You know what I'm saying? So how do you keep up and then get ahead at the same time?
Right. So the answer to both of those questions is going to be to, again, go back to creating a plan. Okay. When you create a plan, you're basically showing someone what is going to happen every single payday for the next 12 months or so. So when I create financial plans, it's going to be over a 12-month period. So when I put it in front of an individual, hey, here's what you need to do every payday in order to pay your bills, save money, and have discretionary spending, money for yourself.
Yeah.
And then have money for savings. When I show them one pay period, it's like, okay, yeah, that's what I do all the time. But when I show them all 26 pay periods over the course of the year, it's like, oh, wow, this makes sense. So you're saying all I need to do is do this every single pay period of the budget, and I'll be XYZ 3 months, 6 months, 9 months out. It's the trajectory. Right. When you show people projections, that's what kind of starts that. Let me start doing
clicking.
It differently.
That click.
I can see what can happen now. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're so short-minded. You're not looking at the full picture. That's why I put plans in front of people like, look, here's the full picture. Over a 12-month period, this is what you can achieve. So when you put it that way, it just opens the doors to a different mindset.
Consistency is key.
Yeah. Discipline, like you said.
Absolutely.
You know, so my thing is, you know,
he has a hard time.
That's why I'm asking all the questions. Okay, you hear me? Because I'm like, but what if? So my thing is, all right. Yes, it takes discipline and it takes all of that. But have you ever had, out of all of the 700 clients that you had, you devise a plan, but do you have clients that don't stick to the plan, though?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So,
of course.
All right.
It's human nature to break away from something that's new.
Right.
Just like you're trying to diet, just like you're going to work out.
Oh,
just like
don't
anything.
talk about the diet.
I'm just saying, it's anything. People look at, I'm going to get my finances in order at the beginning of the year. So, it's the same mentality to break away from it. So, no, I definitely have clients that break away from it, but I try to put in like key steps or metrics to track how they're doing. And I say the doors of communication is always open.
Right.
So if you're getting into an issue that you can't really resolve by yourself, then contact me. Let's figure a plan out. Let me be that sounding board for you from a financial perspective to give you insight on what's not working and what could work.
Okay. So your services is more so you do counseling, financial counseling all the time, 24/7.
Pretty much. If I build a plan for you, I'm counseling you every payday if needed. Some clients are very astute and they just say, look, I just need a plan to follow. Right. So I build the plan out for them in Microsoft Excel from scratch. It's not something you can download from, wherever. And then based on that plan, they follow it and they make changes to it as they see fit. Some clients aren't that intuitive. They're like, look, I need you to manage this for me, or I need you to update it. I screwed it up. And then I'll go in and update it from wherever point they are to the end of the budget. so that they can have a revised plan. The goal is for them to stick to the budget as best as they can. I don't expect people to do it 100%. I got some clients that do it 100% because they want to show off that, look, I'm going to do better than your projection. I'm going to get 10,000 in the account, not just 8,000.
That's why I need to be. I need to be in that group.
So yeah, those are motivation. So like, and that's why I talk about it on social media. I show people's accounts. I obviously blur out information, personal information, and I show it because I want people to be able to connect to what the other clients are doing that's working with me.
Yeah, you know, you can do it too. I think that's the key. You want people to know that you can do it. Now, are you on calls? It's like, can they call you at any time? About
12 o'clock at night. You know, listen, like, I'm at 7-Eleven. About to buy this Slurpee. I know it's not in. I know it's not in the budget.
But I'm saying though,
you'll be surprised with the calls I get. I mean, some clients, a lot of clients know that there's a shut off time.
Okay.
There's a shut off time, even though it don't seem like I'm shutting off because I'm still up, and they may see a bill get paid, or they may see a transaction like, oh, X doing work. You know, he's doing what he got to be doing. So it is a, you know. I tell people after 10 o'clock, unless it's an emergency, don't call.
Don't call.
You know, always email, text.
I'll
try to
9 to 5.
You know, I gotta get some rest.
Yeah,
I gotta get some sleep. I got a family. I gotta do me too.
Yeah.
At the same time. So that's the difficult thing of growing a business when you start to exceed 3 and 5 and 8 and 1,000 clients. It's like, okay, it's going to be a bandwidth issue. So I have to set these parameters in place in order for me to still have a life outside of my job.
Well, Xavier, let me ask you this: like, how did you get into this? Like, is this a model that you set for yourself, and then that you just are projecting into other people, or like, how did you specifically get into finance and be able to budget and be able to capitalize and really just manage your life? I mean, honestly, we're talking about managing your life finances at the same time. So how did that happen for you?
So for me, I was a computer geek.
Okay.
So I was really big in computer science, and I like algorithms and trajectories and regressional analysis, all that boring stuff. Coding. So I liked it, but I couldn't monetize it when I was in high school, my senior year. So I stumbled across an internship with a Wall Street investment banking firm, and I worked in. I said, okay, this is fine. I'm doing modeling. I'm building, models for J.P. Morgan and Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Citibank. And they said, you're really good at this. Like, have you ever thought about working at Wall Street? So I said, no, I want to do computer science. So they like, well, take your love for computer science and blend it with finance. And that started back in 2003. And from there, I spent 8 years with that Wall Street firm. I got registered as a registered broker with FINRA and the Security Exchange Commission. And it just, took off from there. At that point, I was like, okay, well, I guess finance is going to be the thing that I do. I don't really particularly like accounting.
Right.
That's a whole different mindset. Right. But the financial analysis, figuring out someone's issue, being able to debunk a problem, solving issues with money, that was what I like to do. So from there, I applied that to my own personal life. Right. And then I just started studying people. I would start studying how they live, how they talk, how they speak, what they do on social media. And then I started to realize that there's some money to be made out of this because, like you said, you're managing someone's lifestyle. Right. And you're doing it through the pocketbook or their purse. So it really does come down to kind of being like a financial therapist in a way. So like once you analyze a person, you know exactly what you need to do in order to get them to their financial goals.
Right.
Financial therapist.
Yeah, that's what I said. I like that. That's the first time I heard that. Right.
We all know about the finational advisors.
That's when I could brag to my friends, be like, I gotta go see my financial therapist. I don't know if I could make it to the club tonight. My financial therapist said,
"Talk me through these numbers real quick. Make sure it makes sense."
But you know what? We don't get taught that though in school. We don't get taught a lot of the financial education that I feel like that we should get. We just kind of like bypass our way and trial and error.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
but
good.
I think also a lot of people don't get taught that in the home as well. You can't rely on the school system for everything. Yep. That's something that has to be taught at home, and the school can do a little something.
They can do
but, it definitely has to.
Man, they can teach you 1 + 1.
Now you said you have a family. Do you have children?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. I just want to make sure I asked. So, how do you teach them these?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
They get really big on allowances.
Okay.
Big on chores. Big on connecting.
How many kids?
5. So big on.
Damn! 5.
Boom! 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 Shots fired.
See, now we need to
you better be financially stable for 5. Okay.
He don't got no choice. Okay. He don't have no choice.
We was like, goddamn. When you start in 2003,
5 college tuition.
I had a choice. I just chose not to do what I was supposed to do.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say, how do you determine how much is a good allowance to give your child? So from your income, or how do you determine?
So the way that I do allowances and the way that I recommend it is to do it by age.
Okay.
So there's and you can look this up online. They have different metrics to say, hey, you get whatever your age is times 2.
Okay.
So like we get paid bi-weekly. Most people get paid, every other week. So you have an 8-year-old, then they get $8 every week, and then on your payday they get $16. So in a month they get $32. For an 8-year-old, $32 is a lot, because you're going to be providing everything for them anyway. It's not like you're going to say, take your $32 and go back.
Right.
Pay your rent.
Pay your portion of
your
the
car note.
Actually, they wound up with 28 because I'm taking my taxes. I'm taking everything. We got to teach you how to budget, girl. We got to teach you how to budget.
Everything. No, we talk. So in my household, we don't go that deep. Okay. Only because they have to live with the tax season. Okay. So every year, January through April, it's crazy because I'm very not active in my kids' life because of the tax season.
Yep.
Especially with the past tax season.
Everything done changed.
So it was very difficult to, keep up with the old and new codes, and having people come to me and say, hey, I need 17 and 18 now. I'm like, well, 17 going to be like this. Right. 18 going to be screwed up.
Right.
And they're like, well, how? Like, it's the same income. Like, the whole code changed. So the kids have to actually see that day and night, and they hear about it on the car ride home from work or from school. Oh, daddy talking to another client about taxes. Taxes.
Right.
So they understand what taxes are, what the dollars are used for, and why everybody has to pay it. So I don't go that deep in saying, look, I'm going to take out of your allowance taxes, which is I think it's actually a neat thing to do, because you really do expose the child to real life situations. Like, this is what's going to happen when you get your first paycheck.
Especially with taxes. Yeah. Actually, I think I need to hire you for my taxes. By the way, listen, Uncle Sam been knocking at the door. Knocking.
Let's get it done.
Listen. And I got bolt locks on that door. Boy, I've been trying to keep Uncle Sam out.
They gonna seep in through the cracks.
Yeah, they do.
No bolt locks don't do nothing.
You be like, the window black.
I see you in there. I know you're in there.
You gotta come out sometime.
So what's your advice on taxes, though? Like, because taxes are involved in every American citizen's life that's here. Like, what's your advice on just people doing either their own taxes or just either tax advice? Like, what's your best advice on that?
I actually don't have a problem with people, in the business of doing it yourself, DIY industry. But a lot of people know that they shouldn't be doing it themselves, but they do it anyway because they're being cheap. Right. A lot of my tax services are all of my services are inexpensive. Right. I make money because I'm good at what I do, not because of how much I charge people for what I do. Right. And a lot of financial professionals can't say that. A lot of financial professionals say, I make good money because I charge people good money. Right. That's not my train of thought.
So you believe that people shouldn't do their taxes themselves?
I think a lot of people shouldn't do their taxes themselves.
Why?
I've seen in numerous cases when people do their own taxes, they either leave a lot of money on the table in terms of credits and deductions that they're entitled to, or they take too many deduction and credits they're not entitled to because of the tax software allows it. A lot of people think just because the software just lets them key it in that it's right. It's not right. Even with the 100% guarantee accuracy, it still come back fraudulent. It still come back incorrect. And you're like, well, I paid for this. Like, well, we don't guarantee everything right.
That's
like,
true.
what were I paying for that?
Exactly. I definitely wanted to ask you about TurboTax.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely wanted. That's why I'm like, well, you right. You know what I'm saying? You is right.
You
like,
remember, you know, being a computer geek, it's about, there's an old saying, it's not about the output, it's about the input.
Right.
So junk in means junk
out.
So if you don't know what the hell you doing and you putting junk into TurboTax is just going to spit junk out. And you're going to be like, hey, I got a refund. Or,
but isn't that the point of kind of like educating yourself? Because I feel like in life, you're always going to have to pay taxes. Okay. You're always going to have to do that year after year after year for as long as you live. So why not learn about that and learn about the tax structure so that you can go ahead and file your own taxes and do your own thing? Because, in instance, is that advice that you would give to your children to be like, okay, well, once you get older, this is not something that you really need to learn. This is something that you need to hire somebody for?
I'm a big believer in there's always someone for something.
Okay.
I'm real big on staying in your lane too. Yeah. I'm real
big on that. They be like, why you not mowing the lawn? That's not my lane.
That's my lane. I don't do that. I'm not an expert.
I don't do that.
I don't know. He cutting the grass zigzag. Guess what?
That's not my lane. That's not my lane.
He's doing something that I don't know how to do, or something that I don't want to do.
Exactly.
I think when it comes to taxes, people, just money in general, financial management, taxes, debt, credit, savings, things in general that you're not really sure of. If you know that deep down inside that there's something don't feel right, then it's probably not right. So at that point, it's like, let me pass this on to a professional. And I think a lot of people look at tax practitioners and say, yeah, you're just trying to make some money and, you know, charge me all of this stuff and tell me to do whatever I need to do. And then I don't see you till next year. But that tax their job is to let you know what you qualify for and what you don't qualify for. So when you got questions, you're paying money, you need to get answers. So I don't think that you can't learn about taxes by having a professional do it. It's just that a lot of times people don't ask questions.
That's true.
Right, they go through, and they don't ask the right question.
I was about to say the right question.
It's like I walk people through their tax return. I'm like, I know they're gonna ask the question. They be like, nope, no question. I'm like, you don't have a question like how I got you $15,000 back, and then the other guy said you owe $7,000. They're like, I guess. Like so, it's like when you're nonchalant about things like that, that lets me know the type of individual you are when it comes to management of money. Because any other person would be like, oh yeah, now tell me how that happened. Yeah. Like I want to know.
Did you fudge the numbers? Like what did you do?
Some people don't want to know because they just want a refund and they think they're entitled to getting a refund. From the federal government.
And most people don't even understand why you're getting a refund at the end of the day.
Right. Like, so tell us this. We need a tool and a jewel. What is one piece of financial advice that people can start doing for a better financial future, but also one thing that people need to stop doing immediately?
For a better financial future, people need to stop
smoking weed? Don't say that.
This is double-edged sword. I wasn't going to bring marijuana into it. I think
because we budgeted for that.
Look, I've had clients say, "Look, I need my recreational spin.
I
got my medical card.
Right, I was about to say it's medicinal.
I think that's what you ain't got to tell me what this line item for.
I'm just flexible spending. Got that,
and then keep it moving. But no, I would say one thing they can start doing is to start researching different money habits. I think people just intuitively think that they know what they're doing when it comes to managing their own money issues. No, research it. I mean, you got all these resources. Research it, learn a little bit, and then if you did have questions, then ask a professional. But we seldomly research it. We just say, oh, well, this is my issue. I think I'm going to fix it this way. And it don't work. I'm going to do this It don't work. I'm gonna do this. Just take out the time to research.
Yep.
Research
Know what
and
you're
learn
doing.
a little bit. And then the second thing I would say is that, people just need to get out of their feelings when it comes to money. I think that we're so involved with the attachment that money has to us personally that we don't want no one else to know what our money looks like. And because of that we're going to fail. We're going to fail financially because we don't want no one else to see what we're going through financially. Yeah. So it's a pride issue.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a big
pride issue.
Yeah. Even I don't tell nobody how much I make, or
I don't tell nobody
discuss
either.
finances with anyone really. I mean, I'm discussing it with my daughter. She'll be 15, but I mean, I can't think of anyone I sit there.
Oxytocin makes a lot of money.
Whatever.
Okay, that's why she don't really talk. She think people gonna get jealous. That's why she make a lot of money over there. It's okay.
Whatever. No, but that's just good stuff. When you talk about pride and you talk about money, it's like I think people go at their finances the same way they go at relationships. We think we're all just supposed to. I'm gonna find love and then we're gonna be happy and then that's gonna be it. But no, do your research. Get to know somebody. Get to know your money. Yeah. And what you can do with it and what you can't do.
I think you got to build a relationship with your money, right?
Yep.
So
I'm just seeing money so differently now. And
you typically do as you get older.
Hey, money.
Like it goes from
how are you
in an abusive relationship with money to being in an
abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm a financial therapist. Financial therapist at heart.
I know we get a free counsel session. Okay,
look, give me the pillow.
People abuse the money that they earn, so they're financially abusing this financial situation.
All right.
It's just like people take for granted. Like you need to love your money because people act as if it's plentiful.
But if you ain't got none, how you gonna love it if you ain't got none?
You got something.
You got something. That is true. You do start somewhere.
I've assisted people with minimum wage, people that bus boys, people.
I know. I seen on your Instagram somebody was making like $8 an hour and they was qualifying for a house.
Hey, it's out there. The programs are out there. Then go for it.
Right.
If you can make the money to get into those subsidized programs, I have nothing against that. Just as long as you stick to your budget, stick to the plan, and grow bigger than $8 an hour because that's not sustainable in any part of the country.
That's true.
That's true.
That is that's very true. So how important is finance and love? Like, you know what I'm saying? In relationships. I mean, do they go together? Or do they come together? Do they go together or do they come together? Is that what it is? What's that?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both.
So when you're broke, you're single.
Well, no, you could be broke single and you could be broke in a relationship.
That's true.
You can go broke trying to be in a relationship.
That's true.
Because you're trying to please the other person you're with that you're starving yourself for financial success.
That's true.
It really doesn't matter in or outside of a relationship, but the goal is to understand where you are as an individual when it comes to your money. Because if you can't manage your money, you can never get in a relationship and help someone else manage theirs.
Exactly. But is that super important just as a man when it comes down to being in a relationship? Because the man is perceived as the person that takes care of the bills and the provider, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So like, is that like more super important? But at the same time, we got pride too. We don't want to go to somebody. We don't want to go to a financial therapist. We feel like, our mother and father done gave us, you know what I'm saying?
We need to be successful. Yeah, I think a lot of us today are living in an era that we didn't live in, and that's like the pre-70s.
Yeah,
you got to remember, prior to the 70s and the 80s, the woman was at home. Their job was to take care of the home, take care of the house, take care of the kids, take care of the man. When they got there, the man's job was to go out there and make the money.
Right.
You couldn't find a woman willing to be with a broke man in the 70s because that wasn't the case. Society was, I'm gonna be your wife. You bring her home the bacon. Right. I can't cook it if you don't bring it.
Right.
That's changed now.
Right.
Oh yeah, she got all the money.
But you don't think women think the same way still? They could go out and work. No, they go out and work.
I already told you about your generalizations and assumptions about some women. No, they don't.
All right, they want you to bring home half the bacon. Okay.
88% of my clientele of the 700 are females. I can tell you that mentality does not exist.
So what do they want? What do these women want?
They want equal rights. They want to be treated as the same way men get treated. They want to be paid. And I don't mean to talk about it like a subjective way. but they want to be equally paid for the same skill sets that they can bring to the table, or sometimes better.
But what about in a relationship, though?
But see, that's the thing. The mentality switch is career-wise, money-wise. Okay. In a relationship-wise, women are still trying to find that balance because it's new to them.
Right. Okay.
For years, and it's been new for the last 25 years or so for the woman to step up and be the leader in a relationship financially.
And make more.
So the people that they depend on, their grandmother, their mother, their aunts, all the women, they live in that mentality of the man's supposed to take care of the woman. So they can't really talk to them for advice because things are different now.
Right.
So women get into relationships and they're like, look, I feel inadequate because I'm bringing home the money. What are you doing? And the guy's like, well, no, I'm going out there making money. No, you're not making my money, though. So
I was about to say, you're not making my money, though.
But tell me, what do you think about mixing finances as far as like boyfriend and girlfriends having joint accounts or sharing accounts? Because people feel like they do it because, they don't make enough, or they feel like, they're going through a hard time right now. And it's just for a little bit. But tell us why that's not a good idea.
2 incomes is better than one.
Yeah, 2 incomes are better than one, but you can manage the 2 incomes without it being conjoined. You don't need your money to be in my money for us to do things together. I think when you get to a point that you want to jointly, my direct deposit, your direct deposit, and hit one bank account is when you're talking about this is Beyonce, this is Bae, for real, not the he's a boo thing, boyfriend, girlfriend. No, when it's about to be marriage, engagement, when all that is forthcoming, that's when joint accounts can come into play. Prior to that, it's, look, you know how much money I make, I'm being honest with you. You know how much money she make, she being honest with you. And we do what we got to do together with our money.
Exactly.
So what about if you're married?
No mixing those finances, y'all.
Do you think even though you're married, you should still have like separate accounts?
No, I don't. I think because what happens is, again, we go back to money is so personal.
Right.
If you're in a marriage, what's more personal than
your finances?
Your finances. And then when you compare that to the vows that you took an oath to a human being. You're saying money is more valuable than this oath because I need to have a separate account. Like, you're going into it with the wrong thought process. It's the same thing with prenuptials in a way. I'm for them and then I'm not for them in some cases. But when you talk about having separate accounts and you're married, even if the other spouse knows about it, it still means something is wrong.
Yeah.
And y'all haven't flushed through that. So that needs to be flushed through with a therapist or somebody before y'all take that next step, because you don't want to go into the marriage saying, look, I think I need to have a separate. Why do you think you need to have a separate?
But you don't think that it's just a certain amount of holding on to a certain amount of independence? Like, it's like, okay, well, we have money for the bills, and then I have my own money for leisure. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. It's just so that we're not, you have a little bit of independence in between your relationship. Like, do we have to have a joint account? Because when you go and spend that $300 on that purse, and then I go and my card get declined, what?
So we're mixing two things. I'm fine with having separate accounts.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, when you say separate, like, oh, does that person even know anything about it or what's going on? No, I don't believe in that.
Okay.
I believe that, look, all the money goes into one account. If we're married, all the money goes into one account. This is a big old house. We're a big family. Money goes into one account. We pay all the bills. Every single bill out this account. And then when it comes to our own discretionary spending,
we can
transfer that out.
Yeah.
And you spend in your separate account, and I spend in my separate account. But, I'm not big on having separate accounts just to have them. Okay. Not in a marriage, no.
Okay.
But that boyfriend and girlfriend don't do it.
Well, you got 5 kids, so how does it work for you personally?
In terms of what, money?
Yeah.
I manage the money. I mean, that's the end of the discussion.
Well, you are the financial.
It will be ill-advised for me to not
use your talents for your family.
Yeah.
Right. So no, that would. Even when I sit with my fiance and we talk about money and management, I let her do her thing with her budget, because sometimes I get too busy to do things. There's been conversations that I said, hey, maybe you take over my budget, and I show her my budget. She's like, oh, hell no. I'm not. No. No, way too much going on here. You got too many moving parts. No. So it's really about in a relationship or in a situationship. Because a lot of people don't want to say they're in relationships no more. In a situationship, when it comes to managing money, it's who does it best.
Yeah,
I want who does it best to manage.
The talent, who got the talent.
If you know one person screws up their paycheck every pay, then don't let them manage the money. Why? Because both of you gonna suffer. Because you're gonna be hearing on the phone, I ain't got no money. I can't go here. Yeah. You're like, well, dang, if I manage the money for both of us, maybe we could go here. But we could do
That's
that.
true.
So you always gotta find who got the best qualities for what.
Who got the best qualities for what.
How soon do you think it's important to talk finance in a relationship? When you're dating someone, I mean, to let them know how much you make, you know, just to have that full disclosure when it comes to your finances. How soon should you wait?
I say a good time is when you're about to talk about sex.
Okay.
So if y'all have sex.
Y'all sharing your bodies.
Who says we talk about sex? When we about to have sex?
Well, he said if that's a good time.
Okay, that's a good time.
About money. Okay. If you feel like, oh, you know, I think we're about to take it to the next level. Okay. Then that next level should include finances too. Because you're about to share something very intimate. Again, finances have an intimacy level to it. It's a personal.
Even if it's just about sex.
Even if it's just about sex, that's right. It's like. Wait,
my question, I asked him.
Okay, I know.
Strictly,
I'm just going off. Okay. I'm just going off. But go ahead.
You don't be following.
I just going off. Yeah, listen, cause I'm like, you know, little personal experience.
Well, y'all not dating. Y'all not dating if it's just about that. If it's just about that, y'all not dating.
You're not dating. But I get what you're saying. Once you take it to that level, then it's just as personal as sex. Yep.
And now we see why it's so hard for people to have the financial conversation, because when you think of pride and everything that you said that goes into it, it's like
your body
harder.
Is pride.
Yeah.
I guess giving yourself to somebody is pride.
Or being vulnerable.
So you're
you know what I'm saying? You looking all fly, and I found out you only make $19K a year.
I guess it's a stigma with it though.
Cards
like it's
out.
a stigma with it though, because like honestly, you could have good sex, right? And then you be like, okay, well, you work at McDonald's, or you work at, you know, you don't have a prestigious job, which makes you, which characterize you in a certain type of light. You get what I'm saying?
No, I know that. But if you're in that type of field, then you probably won't be going on a date. Anyway. Yeah. Like the person going to know. Like
you skipped a few steps.
You're going to talk. Like y'all dating. Y'all going out to eat. Y'all go to a movie.
People at McDonald's and Outback, they be
y'all going to talk where you work at. Like, I work for the government. You may not give details. Be like, I work for the government. Oh, I work for the private sector. Okay, that's good enough. Not, I work in retail. I'm like, okay, what retail you working?
Forever 21.
But I think when you misrepresent yourself is what makes it really, like if you say, oh, that car is mine, when that car is not yours, or you're like doing all these things and lying and giving the illusion that you have what you don't. That's when your finances becomes a big issue. Yeah. Like, don't lie about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? If I assume, let me have my assumptions, and that's on me. But when you start lying, that becomes a problem.
And then you have to understand, a lot of women, they're super intuitive already. So they piecing things together while you putting the steak in your mouth.
That's
and you're
true.
Like, and you're not even knowing it. So
chewing with your mouth open, no class.
No second date.
So they already know. So you don't
and I get it.
They don't have to get to the money conversation. A lot of them. So when you're about to go to that stage, to that level of vulnerability of I'm giving my body to that person, it's the perfect time to go talk about money.
Your money.
Because you're going to go to that same stage anyway. So why not knock it out at the same time?
Yeah.
Now, what if you make a lot of money but you can't manage it? And I think that's a lot of times, because honestly, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, in my experience, I've dated, you know, a lot of, you know, few women, and what if you have a lot of money but you just can't manage it?
I mean, a lot.
They need to go to XNE Financial Advising, Financial LLC. Hit up Xavier, and he gonna get you all the way right. That's what you need to do.
That's number one.
Yeah, because you making some money, he can work with you.
Right,
you making
work with
some
you
money.
When you making some, a little bit in between. But if I've encountered a lot of people that make money, make, you know, six figures, well into the six figures, and they can't manage it. And I put them on a plan, help them manage it, help them understand what they're trying to get to financially. What are their goals? I always listen to people's financial goals, because a lot of people have these outrageous goals of, I want to flip properties, or I want to invest in Wall Street, I want to do, and it don't got a dime in the bank. And sometimes be on the brink of losing their job. But like, you got some really out there goals. Let's will it in a little bit and make it more realistic. So, for a person that makes the money but can't manage it, they need help.
Yep.
They need help. There's no way around it. It's different from a person that don't make the money.
Yeah.
Like, look, X, I ain't got nothing for you to manage. Like, what you gonna be managing these nuts?
What you gonna be managing? I ain't got enough to pay you. I ain't got enough to make it.
You gotta go down to the staffing agency, start the staffing agency to
right.
get your job. So when they come back,
so their situation is a little bit different than a person that has the income that's making the money.
Yeah,
that's true.
They just need help.
Yeah, they just need help. So what's your advice on credit? I just want to touch on credit real quick. How important is credit? And what are your tips for improving your credit, and where can it get you?
See, and this is important, and this is the psyche of an individual when it comes to a consumer. When I started XNE, the three things, and it's still to this day, when I built my business plan, I said there's three things that need to work for you to be financially successful and create generational wealth. A budget plan, debt, which is debt and credit analysis, and tax analysis. So everything that you all have touched on are the three pillars of my services for creating this plan. You can't be successful in financial sense without understanding what your credit is and what it can do for you. A lot of people can make a lot of money, but they could be credit poor, or they could be credit rich but don't make a lot of money.
That's right.
So it is super imperative for you to have the two to come together. In situations where people have a decent credit score and they have too much debt and they're overweight in terms of their APRs, they don't know they can refinance that debt, or they don't know they can improve their score to get the debt refinanced, which gives them a little bit more spending money.
Right.
Because now they're not putting out so much money on the minimum payment.
Right.
So understanding how your debt works and how credit works is going to help you be financially successful as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like, what I'm saying, with credit, especially with credit gets you the girl sometimes, what I'm saying? When you talk about, getting into a relationship and after you get into sex, what's your credit score? All right, I'm about an 800, you know what I'm saying? Then they go ahead and
let me see.
Right.
Then you about 200.
I know, right? You be like, that's an old score. I got to update 30 days. I just paid something off, you know what I'm saying? This and that. But I think credit is important. Like, and even for me, growing up, like, I came from a family where credit wasn't important. It was just like, hell, if you ain't got the money, don't pay it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And then you keep it moving. But when you are trying to acquire things and stuff like that, credit is definitely important, especially when it comes to real estate, cars, big ticket items. You know what I'm saying? You need to have that as a security blanket. Yeah. And it's important. You know what I'm saying? It's important to be able to manage. And I find that it is a daily and monthly thing. Like, you have to constantly be on it. You know what I'm saying? As far as your credit and maintaining your bills and what you can pay.
I mean, it's super important, because if you take a step back and you look at, person A and person B, one that got jacked up credit and the other person that doesn't have jacked up credit, but they both make about the same amount of money. And then you're trying to figure out, well, dang, how is the one that has good credit living so much better than me, and we make about the same amount of money? Well, it's because they have a lower APR. They got a better rate because they got a stronger score.
They're not high risk.
So the other one is a higher risk. So instead of them paying a $350 car note, the one that got jacked up credit paying a $600 car note.
Because we don't know about you.
Right. So we're taking $250 additional out of your money every month because your score is jacked up.
Yep.
And we never take a step back and say, well, let me stop acquiring things with a jacked up ass score. We keep saying, let's go more. Let's get more. And it just gets worse and worse, and then you file bankruptcy. And then you're like, because it becomes too much.
Jeez.
It becomes too much. So we need to get to a point where we can say, all right, let me stop, because my credit score ain't getting no better.
Yeah.
And all I do is just dig myself in a bigger hole, because every time I get new debt, it costs me more money because your score sucks.
Yeah.
So in order for it stop to costing you more money, you have to start improving your score.
Yeah, the sound.
So, but people don't know when to stop and do that. They just keep going until life is unsustainable financially.
Well, that's why they need to come to you, man. That's
really
exactly why they need to come to you, and that's exactly why we got you on the show today. And just to
I done learned some things.
I know.
Okay, we had a financial therapist up
in here. We got to have you back because we got some more things to talk about personally.
Yes. Yes. Look. What is the most rewarding thing for you in the work that you do?
Just hearing people be relieved of the financial stress or the financial burden that they have when
Ain't that the biggest thing in the world?
It's huge for me. And a lot of people, when they're like, oh, well, how much is it going to cost? And I'm like, $200. Like, that's it? You're like, all right, it must not going to be all of that. And then I give it to them. It's like, this is so much more than I thought I was going to get. Like, why are you charging this? Or, like, I've had people give me tips. Like, individuals give me tips for when I do their taxes, tips when I do their budgets, because they know what they're getting is so much more
than what you're paying. Yeah.
So like, it's for me, it's big because, like I said, we have more than 50, 60 testimonials.
Yeah.
And at one time, the website had crashed because we had so many PDFs of people wanting to leave testimony about the services. So I had to redesign the page, and the webmaster was like, just put 8 people up there and that's gonna be it. And it hurts because I want people to see what other people are going through. So that's why I started using social media. I started saying, people, hey, go to our Facebook page and leave a note and tell us about your experience so that people can learn what you do and how you do it. They can kind of get an idea about how much money you make without asking you. They, people know what a receptionist makes. They know what an admin makes. They know what someone that works at McDonald's makes. They know what someone that works as a teacher makes. So I have all these different clients from all walks of life, firefighters, police officers, judges, attorneys, lawyers, mayors. I've had clients. So to have all these people, I just want them to talk about their story so that they can share with other people. You can get help if you want it.
Yeah. And I think it's more of a pride issue, like we talked about, like when you make a certain amount of money, any type of money, you know what I'm saying? You're prideful. You're like, I don't want to go for outside help. I should technically be able to handle my money myself. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just don't have the tools.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have the tools. You have the resources. I mean, again, I connect money back to relationships, because in relationships, people know that they need to get help.
Yeah,
they're like, this relationship ain't working. But they pride, I don't want to talk to no therapist about my relationship issue.
Yeah.
And that's mainly the guy.
Yeah.
The woman like, look, you need to go talk to somebody.
Yep.
And we need to go talk to somebody. We're going to make this work. But it's the same thing. We don't want to talk to no one about our finances either. So relationships fail because they don't want to talk to nobody. You fail financially because you don't want to talk to nobody. Some people are just a big ass failure.
Exactly.
And it's just because they don't want to talk to somebody to get fixed.
And the bright side is you don't have to.
You don't have to.
All right. So make that change. Definitely go and seek out Xavier Epps. He's the CEO and founder of XNE Financial Advising LLC. Please drop your Facebook, IG, and where people can learn more about you and what you do. And get their finances right.
Yeah.
Can't go into 2020 with the madness.
Oh, yeah. 2020, couple months away, and people still doing the same thing. XNE Financial, you could use that to find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. My own personal brand, Finance Guy X. We're dropping a book soon, so it'll be our first book.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to be back.
It will be back talking about it, definitely.
Well, Xavier, listen, thanks for coming through. Listen, you done taught us a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just in a short amount of time. And we kind of want to know a little bit about you, too, a little bit. So we like to, at the end of the show, we like to get a little secret about you, you know? So share a little secret about you that, don't nobody really know.
I like to play 2K on Xbox. And not a lot of people know that because I go under a totally different alias when I go online.
Oh, you got a whole different.
He be
you got a whole different.
I'm playing with him. Yeah, it wasn't even. It don't say finance.
Okay, like a little guilty pleasure, basically.
The downtime is very.
Do the fiance know about this? When okay, all right.
She's like, oh, let me guess.
Why does 2,000 tokens that I done paid on my bill?
What's going on with here?
I'm
like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I got that. I'll cover it.
Okay, so that's not bad. That's cool. That's cool.
It's something, yeah. Just take your mind away from life. Like,
that's
do
true.
something to take your mind away from life. I'm playing a game with a complete strangers, laughing with them about, not being able to shoot a 3 or not being able to box somebody out in the paint. So, it's just, I don't even think about the media, about the money. I don't think about my kids. I don't think about my woman.
It's fun.
I'm in this
fun
virtual world.
In the zone.
In the zone, man.
In the zone.
Well, man, thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for showing love. Yes. Listen, you welcome back anytime, man. Listen,
I like talking to somebody who love what they do, and I can tell that you love what you do.
Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get this finance together. I'm talking about myself.
I know you are.
We're gonna get it together.
We're gonna get it together.
He gonna be looking real different.
He gonna be talking. He gonna be like, yo, so I talk.
I know, right? I'm gonna be a whole different person on the podcast. Listen,
like, look, I don't think we can do this because it's gonna be over budget.
Listen, because we got to get the finances together. The finances ain't together.
Yes.
Listen, it's not working. But listen, thank you, man, for coming through. Thank you for coming all the way out here. Thank you for showing love. Xavier, we in the building. It is what it is. It's drinks and conversation. Oxytocin. Listen, we about to be out, man. Thank you for coming through, bro.
All right, you're welcome.
And if you want to hit him for more finance, well, actually, you know what? We're going to have you back on the show. We got to have you back on the show. Put you back on.
Financial therapist.
Yeah. I know.
That's
a financial therapist.
I know.
I'm going to ask people.
Do you have a financial therapist? Get one.
Does Medicaid cover finance? Okay. Even if it don't, it's all right. We out, y'all.
All right.